Quasi here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 keys to mastering subliminals so that you can completely accelerate your manifestation. Before I begin this video, I wanted to quickly announce that I'm doing a free giveaway of my book, Life Mastery. If you want to enroll into competition to win this book for completely free at the end of the week, just comment Life Mastery down below, and every single Friday, we'll be picking one lucky winner to get this book for free in the ebook format. Also, I'm super excited to announce that the free one-to-one consult for the Reality Mastery program is open, so wait till the end of the video for the announcement on that. And with that, let's get started with this video. So, in this video, I want to talk to you about mastering subliminals. And now I've been experimenting with subliminals for a very long time. And, sometimes they work, other times they didn't, and you have to change them around a lot, and you have to keep changing your affirmations and subliminals around. But I saw that that was ineffective because now I'm spending more time altering my subliminals than I'm actually doing work. So this wasn't effective at all. So obviously I went on a search to find out proven systems, proven ways to actually get subliminals working for you to create the life you want. And now I've done a lot of study on this, I've done a lot of experimentation on this, and this is what I've found that actually works. So first of all, if you didn't know what a subconscious or a subliminal is, it essentially influences your subconscious mind, right? In a conscious manner. So we're consciously choosing the kind of thoughts, the attitudes and beliefs we want to cultivate within ourselves through messaging at your very moldable moments, right? And what really happens is only 5% of your mind is conscious. The rest of it, 95%, is the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind, right? So if you look at an iceberg, the tip of the iceberg is the only conscious mind. The rest of it is unconscious and subconscious. The goal is to use this conscious mind as a gateway to influence the unconscious and subconscious. So it's funny to me, and when I started to realize this, when we're very careful nowadays of what kind of food we put in our body. I mean, if you're careful, then that's great. And if you are careful of what kind of food you put in your body, then your body's going to be very, very healthy, right? So if you start to track yourself, see yourself, and see your own habits, what kind of food you're eating, what kind of supplements you're putting in your body. Now, if you're eating too unhealthy, then your body's going to be unhealthy, and you're going to be unfocused and lazy, and you won't be able to move around swiftly. But the kind of thoughts we're putting in our heads, the kind of thoughts we're actually allowing, if we're not conscious about them, they start to override our conscious mind and go into our subconscious. So the conscious mind is the gateway to the unconscious and the subconscious. Okay? So I want you to remember that. And this realization I came to recently, actually, that if you are around people who are toxic, if you are just unconscious around them, they're going to influence you unconsciously, right? I want you to remember that. If you're around music, you're listening to music that's like death metal or murderous or watching a horror movie, if you fall unconscious, then it's going to override your conscious mind, go into your unconscious, right? So this is why they say never fall asleep in front of a TV, because you'll get subliminally programmed, maybe not in the way that you would like. So with that being said, with that understanding, let's go to the 4 keys that have actually made subliminals work for me. And I'm trying to make it as short and concise as possible so that you actually get value from this and know that less is more. You don't want to do too much with them. These 4 things are the only things that I've found have worked for me personally, have also worked for a lot of other people. And for some reason, it just works. So with that, let's get right to it. Key number 1 is you want to craft your own affirmations and record your own voice when you're doing the subliminals. Now, I've seen a lot of people do this speeding up subliminals and just fast forwarding it, and then they listen to it. I don't know how well that works, but essentially, I personally didn't find any benefit from it. I went to YouTube, saw all of these subliminals to get like superpowers and like be attractive, be stronger. And when I was really young, I used to listen to them a lot for like 30 days straight. We would say, listen to this for 30 days straight and you'll change your life. I did, and my life didn't change. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you to be cautious and wary. But essentially what you want to do is craft your own affirmations yourself, things that you resonate with, and then record yourself on your phone. Or if you don't know how to do this, by the way, I made a video on this showing you, a tutorial showing you how to record yourself, how to put it on your phone. So click up here to check that out, and it's going to be very valuable to you. What I do is I put what is known as solfeggio frequencies. I don't know if they work or not 100%, but they have worked the way that I've done them. It's worked for me, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. Some people say solfeggio frequencies are myth, but I'm not 100% sure. It's worked for me, either 417 or 528 hertz, right? So either way, you want to find some sort of soothing music, something that inspires you, and then sort of dim it out and put your affirmations, you audible. You must be able to hear yourself. Because what we're going to do with this is as you fall asleep, you're going to visualize, right? And then this leaves an imprint on your subconscious mind. But we'll get to that later. So you want to craft essentially your own affirmations, your own subliminals, and then record yourself in your own voice saying them as you fall asleep. Number 2, what you want to do is make them in the third person. Okay, so I started doing I am, but that was no longer effective. And I saw that when I said I am attractive, I am this, I am that, I started limiting myself, right? So instead of saying I am, you want to start seeing yourself in the third person. You want to start seeing this for what it is. It's a character. This is the mind and body. This is not you. I have a quasi. It's weird to explain it in words, but I have a body. I have a mind. This isn't me. When you say I am attractive, I am is that which is infinite, right? The consciousness that controls this body. If you start to put a definition on I am, it becomes limited to that definition. The definition adds a boundary and a constraint to it. So now you're not able to become other things. If you want to become, let's say a genius, you want to become brilliant, you want to become good at what you do, you want to be good at sports. So you're not able to become that because now you're limiting yourself to this one definition. So instead of saying I am, you do quasi is. Quasi is attractive. Quasi is a good tennis player. Quasi is a good YouTuber. All of this, right? So you want to put it in the third person. And for some reason, this works super effectively. If you click up here, check out this video. A lot of people have tried this out. 100,000 people have seen that, 100,000 people. I don't know how many people tried that out. A lot of people have been messaging me saying, wow, this really works. Thank you for this. So you make sure you write your affirmations in the third person. Read them out to yourself first. See if you resonate with them. See if they make you feel inspired. And then record yourself using the tutorial that I put up here. So always learn to see yourself in the third person. This is not you. This is a vehicle that you possess, right? You could make it into a Ferrari if you wanted. You could make it into a Subaru. You could make it into Toyota, whatever you want. Number 3 is what you want to do is set transient goals, not static goals. Now, what you got to remember is the principle of life. One of the deeper laws of life is the law of variation. So everything is in a constant process of becoming and being. This is impermanence. Nothing will ever be its ultimate potential, but rather it works on becoming and being more and more. A caterpillar evolves into a butterfly. The butterfly experiences bodily death, and the atoms of this butterfly become something else. So this is always in a process of becoming and being. This is how life works. It's always in a process of unfoldment. So you want to start aligning with this principle, because if you start to fight against life, then who do you think is going to win? You or reality, right? So you want to write your goals in a transient manner. So quasi is becoming more and more attractive every day. Quasi is getting wealthier and wealthier every day. Quasi, signs more and more clients every day. So this is how you make it more and more transient. So make sure you set your goals in a transient manner. And I remember I read this, the idea of setting transient goals and not static goals, in a book called Awaken to a New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. So that's where I got this idea from. It started working, and all of my goals that I set, it's always in a constant Kaizen process. Okay, this is what we call a process of continual improvement. If you want to see more about that, click up here. I made a video on that as well, on the third person and setting transient goals. And number 4, to conclude all of these keys, what you want to do is be very concerned with timing, okay? When you're actually listening to these subliminals. Because what you got to know is 20 minutes before you fall asleep, right as you're approaching that barrier between conscious and unconscious, that's when you are the most moldable. This is why we plug in our subliminals then. Right? So I personally don't like falling asleep to subliminals or like listening to them as I'm sleeping, because I just find that I wake up with a headache. But what I do is in that barrier, right at that barrier, that point where you're about to fall asleep, you start listening to that subliminal. So as you fall asleep, you plug them in, play them on loop, play them on repeat, and you just keep listening to them. You keep playing them on repeat, and you visualize. While at the same time as you're listening to them, you visualize, okay? You visualize and you see yourself at that scene, becoming more and more attractive, becoming more and more powerful, becoming wealthier and wealthier, whatever it is you wanted. And keep it up until the point you would think you would fall asleep. So usually I set it for a timer of 20 to 25 minutes. And I find that that's the most effective for me. It takes me around 5 to 10 minutes to fall asleep, because I'm usually exhausted by the end of the day. So make sure you set a timer on it. There's an app called Cloud Music Player. I also included it in the tutorial video up here. So get that app, put it on a loop, and just fall asleep until then. That should be sufficient. So 20 minutes right before you fall asleep, that's when your subconscious is the most moldable. 20 minutes just after you wake up until that point, that's also when your subconscious is the most moldable. So you could also listen to it in the mornings, just as you're about to wake up, when you're loath to rise. This is what I learned in Neville Goddard's book. It's called Feeling is the Secret. And he talks about creating that in your imagination, that ideal scene you would like to see as you're falling asleep. So these subliminals, they aid you in doing that. So this is why it becomes very, very powerful. Right? So timing is also absolutely key. Now, another thing I wanted to add was that when you make your own subliminals, what you want to do is avoid changing them every 5 to 10 days. Right? So I saw that when I was doing this, it was because I was in frustration that, this one doesn't work. Why is everything going to shit? No. And that's why I was changing them every 5 to 10 days to see what feels better for me. And I was getting very neurotic. But what you want to do is at least keep them for a period of 3 months. So have a 3-month period where you trial and test it out and see if it works or not before you actually form a judgment. Because Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you want to see if it really works, if it gives you the results you want or not, and then keep it until that point. And then after the 3 months, then you change it. You change your affirmations, you change your subliminals, you make a new one, right? But I highly suggest that you keep a testing period of 3 months, because who knows? Maybe first week it doesn't work, second week it doesn't work. It takes some time, because that which you're seeing around you, that which is material, because of its nature, it's inert, right? Your thoughts you can change instantly like that. The internal change occurs instantaneously if you choose it, but the external change takes a little bit of time to show itself, right? So with that, I conclude this video, and I sincerely hope this helped. Just to recap, if you don't know what the subliminal is, it's essentially a method, a messaging method that you consciously do to influence your subconscious mind. The only way to get to your unconscious and your subconscious mind, so 5% is conscious, 95% is consisted of unconscious and subconscious. The only way to get to the subconscious and unconscious mind is through the conscious mind, right? So most people get subliminally messaged when they're about to fall asleep at that period, because they're just completely moldable. The mind is completely moldable then. And also, it's because the conscious mind is asleep. Whenever you're unconscious, if you're around toxic people, you're going to pick up on the toxicity. If you're listening to music that's not beneficial, like high vibration music, if you're listening to low vibration music that's talking about murdering and doing drugs, then that's the kind of messaging you'll receive when you're unconscious. So make sure you're conscious if the only tool to battle like evil is consciousness. That's what it is. So with that, the 4 keys are to, first of all, craft your own affirmations and then turn them into subliminals by recording your own voice. If you don't know how to do that, again, click up here. Click that little eye here. So when you click the eye, you'll be able to see all the referenced videos, right? Number 2, you want to make them in the third person. So experiment with this. Try first person, try third person, see what works best for you. I've seen that when I start to see myself in the third person, when I start to see quasi in the third person, I'm no longer identified with the mind or with the body, but rather this is a vehicle that is meant to experience the ultimate, right? So that's what you want to use it as. The consciousness is what controls this vehicle, or we don't really know what is that controls the vehicle. We just know that there is, okay? Number 3, set transient goals, not static. Life is in a constant process of becoming and being, unfoldment, so you want to make sure you align with that principle. And finally, timing. Listen to it first thing in the morning, last thing before you fall asleep, in that 20-minute barrier, the 20-minute window where your subconscious is the most moldable. So with that, I conclude this video. I sincerely hope this was valuable. I hope this helped. I hope you'll try this out. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this. If you want me to make more subliminal videos or whatever else you would like to see, I always read through the comments. I love engaging with you guys. And also, I am super excited to announce that if you're new to this channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. But also, I am super excited to announce that the free one-to-one consult for the Reality Mastery program is open. So if you wanted to get on the free consult, you didn't have a spot available, make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up. And essentially, this free consult is a diagnostic to see if we'd be a good fit to work together in the Reality Mastery program. If you don't know what the Reality Mastery program is, it's essentially the most powerful paradigm of manifestation. Because what I've seen in my personal life was that when I aligned with certain principles of life, I was systematically creating the life that I wanted, right? So when I worked on becoming the attractive version of myself, I got my dream partner. When I worked on becoming the entrepreneur version of myself, I got to financial freedom, made more money than I thought would be imaginable. When I got to the studious academic version of myself, I got good grades in school. But all of this happened all as a result of who I became, getting clarity on my vision, on my dream, on that big goal of my life, and figuring out my what and why. And this is what we do in the program. So if you're interested, make sure you click on the link in the description below, and I hope I see you there. And also, if you want to take advantage of our free Facebook group and join this collective like-minded community of people who are also on the path to creating their dream lives, make sure you click the link on the description below right now. And I hope I see you there. Till next time, peace.